Vietnam among the countries with fastest economic growth in Southeast Asia. Korea to apply 5% preferential tax to over 55,000 tons of Vietnamese rice. Government approved 61.6 trillion support package for those affected by COVID-19. Good afternoon, this is Trinh Lê with FBNC News. The COVID-19 infection curve of Vietnam is now showing signs of flattening, as in the last 2 days, no new cases were recorded in the country. By the end of the day, another good news was out. 4 more patients have been cured from the disease, bringing the total number of patients cured and discharged to 95. At the same time, the Ministry of Health has issued an emergency notice number 11 to find people involved in the travel journey of patients number 183 infected with COVID-19. Patient number 183 is a female 43 years old, lives at Trung Hoa, Cầu Giấy, Hà Nội. Previously had close contact with patient number 148, who is a French tourist, on 12th of March. Places that patient 183 has passed by from March 17th to March 20th includes Mộc Ilin Oriental Medicine Clinic at 182 Ngọc Hà, Baden, Hà Nội, JC Clinic number 5 Hàng Chuối, Hương Sen number 5 Lê Văn Thiêm, Thanh Xuân, and Sheraton Hotel on Xuân Diệu Road, Westlake, Hà Nội. The Ministry of Health calls on for those who have visited the above-mentioned places to contact the local health establishments immediately for COVID-19 examination. According to the Import and Export Department of the Ministry of Industry and Trade, due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, in the first 2 months of the year, exports of fruits and vegetables to the China market decreased by 29.4% compared to the same period last year. However, exports to other markets increased significantly.
Statistics from the General Department of Customs show that in the first quarter of 2020, Vietnam's export value of fruit and vegetables were estimated at $831 million, dropping 11.5% compared to the same period last year. The decrease was mainly due to a strong fall in exports to China, Vietnam's biggest fruit and vegetable market, due to the COVID-19 outbreak in this country. China accounts for a high proportion of Vietnam's total exports of fruit and vegetables. Therefore, an increase in exports to other markets did not offset the sharp decline from this market.
According to a recently released report by the Asian Development Bank (ADB), Vietnam's economic growth is forecasted to decline sharply to 4.8% this year, affected by the initial supply shock due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the drop, Vietnam is still one of the countries with the fastest economic growth in Southeast Asia.
In an effort to support economic activities, in early March this year, the government introduced a credit support package of $10.8 billion, equivalent to about 0.4% of GDP, including restructuring repayment schedules and reducing interest rates and fees. The government has also launched 2 budget support packages of $1.3 billion, and it is expected that Vietnam will continue to increase budgetary support. The State Bank of Vietnam has also cut policy interest rates from 0.5% to 1%, lowering the ceiling interest rates for deposits in Vietnam Dong with terms of less than 6 months, and lowering the ceiling interest rate for short-term loans in Vietnam Dong for the priority areas. ADB's Asian Development Outlook indicates that the foundation for Vietnam's economy is still maintained, and forecasts that if the pandemic is controlled in the first half of 2020, the economy will recover with a growth rate of 6.8% in 2021, and the economy will continue to grow strongly in the medium and long term.
The Republic of Korea is expected to import 50% of over 55,000 tons of rice from Vietnam in the tender scheduled this May with a preferential import tax of 5%. According to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Republic of Korea committed to apply a preferential tax rate of 5% for the quota volume of 408,700 tons of imported rice for 10 years, starting from 2020, including rice import from Vietnam. Meanwhile, the tax rate applied to imported rice outside this quota is 531%. The Republic of Korea planned to import 50% of its total rice quota from 5 countries in the first half of 2020. Tenders are scheduled to take place in January, March, and May, but the plan may be changed due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Korea is considering the possibility of tender for Vietnamese rice in early May, with expected imports of 50% of the total quota of 55,112 tons. In order to prepare and effectively take advantage of the opportunity from Korea rice import bidding this year, the Ministry of Industry and Trade has sent a dispatch to provincial industry and trade departments and the Vietnam Foods Association to inform rice exporters as well as related organizations and individuals about the contents regards to Korean rice import regulations. From April 4th, 200 taxis certified by the Chi Minh City Department of Transportation will be allowed to operate in the city to serve the travel needs of people in urgent circumstances, especially in transporting sick people, and these rides are completely free.
In response to the urgency and transport demand of the patients, after the fixed route passenger transport services, buses, taxis, and contract vehicles have been temporarily suspended, the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City has just allowed more cars put in place to support the residents in urgent circumstances from the 4th to the 15th of April. Ho Chi Minh City Department of Transportation, in coordination with My Linh Group, have put 200 taxis into operation free of charge for the residents in case of emergency. There are patients who used to travel by taxi or by contract car, but now with the suspension of such services, we were thinking, what choice do they have? The hospitals have been supporting those in need for the past few days, but if there are more vehicles available at the hospitals, it will be incredibly helpful. The 200 taxis from My Linh Group mainly transport people to hospitals for medical examinations, treatments of serious illnesses, or emergencies. They don't pick up passengers on the way. All vehicles and drivers are equipped with protective and disinfecting equipment. They must wear a mask and have made a medical declaration. They will not serve COVID-19 or suspected COVID-19 patients. The Prime Minister has called on localities to join hands in COVID-19 prevention. This free taxi operation is our voluntary participation. These vehicles will not use the company's switchboard system, but will be coordinated by the hospitals. In the event that someone calls the emergency number 115, the operator will consider and dispatch if a free taxi is near the caller.
A package worth more than $2.6 billion to help those most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic has been approved by the government in the permanent meeting on April 5th. According to the draft resolution, there will be 6 groups of people who are eligible for the relief payments to be made in cash or through the Bank of Social Policies. Social policy beneficiaries and those who have rendered services to the state during the revolution and wars who are receiving monthly allowances will be given an additional 500,000 VND each month in April, May, and June. There are about 4,135 million people who fall under this category. About 984,000 poor households and 1,260,000 near poor households across the country will receive 1 million VND each month also in April, May, and June. Workers who were laid off or put on leave without pay due to the direct impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic will be provided 1.8 million VND a person a month. A monthly payment of 1 million VND paid for 3 months will be given to an estimated 5 million workers who either lost their jobs don't have a labor contract or had the contracts terminated when the social insurance contribution period is not sufficient for unemployment benefit payout. Individual business households with yearly revenue below 100 million VND who have to temporarily close down as part of the government stay-at-home order and social distancing measures will be given 1 million VND a month over a 3-month period. About 760,000 households are eligible for this support. Employers can borrow from the Vietnam Social Policy Bank with zero interest rate over 12 months to pay salaries for their furloughed workers in the 3-month period. There will also be policies in place to help simplify the process of claiming unemployment support for workers. Employers and employees will also temporarily be exempt from their obligatory contributions to the Retirement and Survivors Fund as part of the government-sponsored insurance program. More than half of the package's value will be sourced from the state budget, while the remainder will come from mobilization of other sources, according to the government. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc said that the government will highly support the draft package and ordered measures be put in place to ensure the transparency of the implementation and make sure that there would be no fraud and that the support will go to the right people. According to the Ministry of Finance recent Circular Number 12, wind and solar powers must be assessed for operation licensing. This circular supplements Circular Number 167 issued in 2016, which stipulates licensing for hydropowers and thermal power.
According to a recently issued circular by the Ministry of Finance, wind and solar power must be assessed for electricity operation licensing starting 17th of April. Circular number 167 issued in 2016 only stipulates the rates, collection, remittance, management, and use of appraisal fees for operation licenses for hydropower and thermal power. The Electricity Regulatory Authority of Vietnam and local departments of industry and trade shall collect, submit, manage, and use charges for assessment for licensing in electricity activities according to regulations. In case the unit proposes to amend or supplement its operation license, only 50% of the new fee will be collected.
Over 60% of enterprises are having their production and businesses activities negatively affected by the coronavirus outbreak, according to a report recently published by the National Economics University of Vietnam. By March 20th, over 15% of businesses had to cut their production scales. If by average, each company has to lay off 25 people, within 2 months, about 400,000 workers will be affected financially. Also, according to this report, Vietnam's second quarter GDP growth is expected to be only about 2% over the same period last year. A recession scenario will occur if worst case happens. The report also states that if the COVID-19 pandemic lasted until June, only 15% of the businesses would be able to remain in operation. That is all for FBNC News today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.